Hey guys, this is a fan art piece that I did of the twin victim, or twin victims, from Silent Hill 4, which is one of my favorite enemies, actually. This is what you see finished. There is something old that I did, so that's why it's going to look very similar. And I was hunting for the raw file, and I don't think I ever saved the raw file back when I originally did this because I was a dum-dum. And then I looked for it online, and I couldn't find the image that looks like this where they're standing straight on and pointing. But when I searched for it, I found that original piece that I had uploaded, which I just thought was really funny and weird. So I went in and just redrew it. I mapped it out in that light blue line just so I could sort of see what the structure was underneath. And that's something I've been doing lately is I'll take whatever reference photo I have and I'll draw over top of it and just sort of see what's going on there and breaking things down into shapes if I'm able to do so. And with this piece, what I wanted to correct from the old piece was I wanted to be able to have a PSD of it so I could save it and not have some really low res JPEG. I also wanted to fix my line work because it's very sketchy on the old one, which mostly in like the hood and actually everywhere now that I look at it. And the dumb background is so stupid. I just didn't know what to do, and I wanted to have some sort of depth to it, so I did color, and I actually took like the blood splatters and I just splatted them all over, and then I just warped it so it looks like it's on the floor, but I didn't really give it a floor. And I do play with some warping a little bit later to make the background, but yeah, I didn't really have like a original art reference photo. So, real talk, Silent Hill is my favorite thing ever. It is my absolute favorite. 4 is not even my favorite of the Silent Hill series, but Twin Victim is one of my favorite designs. I really like weird things with arms. Weird arms, like, just, it's so cool. And hands are neat. Hands are hard to draw, but they're really neat. And the story it's a horror game, so it's kind of sad, and I liked it because it was sad and it was creepy and scary. And I'm kind of kicking myself. I did upload a video of me drawing my favorite character of the series. Her name is Heather Mason, and it's actually here somewhere on my YouTube channel, and it sucks. Like, I hate it. I'm so over it. And I just, that's what I felt, so I redrew it. And I wasn't quite ready to upload art videos because I wasn't very confident, but I love that drawing, and I've actually used it as my phone's background for months, whatever today is. And I uploaded it to put it on my phone, used it as the background almost as soon as it was done, so I don't know how long that is. Months. It's been there for months. I've had it there longer than like my wedding photo. Just mostly because I'm really proud of it. It's a piece that I can look at, and whenever I unlock my phone, I look at it, it makes me feel accomplished, and it makes me feel really happy. And I think that's something that's really important if you're not very confident in your skills, but you know, you have a piece that you're proud of. Even if you're super confident in your skills, it's a good reminder to remind yourself like what you're about. If you're an artist, you're about your art. And if you do fan art at all and you have a fan art piece of something that you love, that's two wonderful, beautiful things like in one. So I have this picture on my phone, and I keep thinking like maybe I'm gonna change it, and I haven't yet. But this piece, I'm really, like, happy with it. And I'm really glad that I recorded it because of how much I like the piece and how much, like, I'm trying not to sound like over confident here, but I'm really proud. And I guess, it's important to admit when you're proud of something and talk about it and talk about why you like it. So, to stay motivated. And that's something that I found, like, not just myself, but in the artist community. I see a lot of art videos about, like, stay motivated and tips and tricks for things to do to keep yourself motivated. And it makes me feel a little bit better that I'm not, like, the only person with that problem. But it makes me feel like, well, that's a shame, for people who are having that trouble. So what I do is whenever I have something that I'm proud of, I just share it, and the feedback's really nice. And with this piece, it's creepy, so it's kind of weird. It's, like, kind of hard to show people because it's 2 baby faces and it's a monster, and it kind of disturbs some people. But here I am uploading it to YouTube. So the Silent Hill series is my favorite. It brings me a lot of joy because it's just so weird and so out there. And I do like really odd things, and horror is my favorite genre of anything. And I love monsters. I've probably said that in a couple of videos by now, or depending on upload order, I will be saying it more in more videos to come. But there's something about monsters that I really like. And maybe, I guess, I'll get into that at another time. Speak a little bit more about this specifically. I go in with this splotchy brush because everything in Silent Hill is like, it's grainy and gritty and dirty and gross and horrible. And I hate dirty things, like, for real. I couldn't ever be in Silent Hill because it's also dirty and gross. But as a visual thing, I adore it because it makes it seem so real. So I went in, and just like their little hood cape thing, it looks like a potato sack, like some dirty potato sack. I like it. I think it looks really neat. And something about just, like, the simple, I guess you could call it a costume, but the simple costume of these creatures, monsters, this monster, it's really simple, and it just highlights the design itself. You don't know what's going on with the body. And I think about that sometimes. I think, is it this weird set of shoulders, and then it tapers into these 2 arms, and that's it? Or is there, like, a weird hanging torso? Does it have itty bitty creepy baby legs? I don't know. We'll never know. It's weird. So the twin victim, I don't like spoiling things in my videos if I can help it. I don't like spoilers. I think it's really rude. Even if something's old, you don't know who's literally just getting into something. There's me in my soapbox for like 2 seconds, like, don't spoil things. It's not nice. But yeah, not to super spoil it or anything. But there is, there's a bunch of ghosts in this game. So obviously people that have died. And this is 2 people that died. And instead of becoming a ghost, which in the game is like one entity, it's one ghost, and you will encounter that ghost and have to escape from it. This is a monster that you see several times, and it's not just one monster like Pyramid Head that just keeps finding you. It's like a not respawning, but like there's several of them. There's many of them. So I don't know why that is exactly, but I always liked it. It always freaked me out. And when you find these things, they're just standing there just like this. This is the pose. on one hand, pointing at you, just kind of waiting. And then when they notice you, they just run at you. And that's really, really creepy. And they'll use their one hand, they'll just sort of wind up and just whap you, knock you over. They're scary. They're really, really creepy. And they have like these big, creepy old man hands, but they're little itty bitty baby faces. And the contrast of that, I love it. It's so weird. In 4, you play as Henry Townsend, and it's Silent Hill 4, The Room. And you're stuck in your room, and you find a way to get out. Your front door is locked, so you find a way to get out, and you don't get out into the real world, you get out into Silent Hill, and there's a few stages, and actually halfway through, you end up going through the stages again. And this is actually one of the stages. I don't remember, because it's been forever, I don't remember all the stages that the twin victim shows up, but this is the water prison, which is where, if this is the only place that they are, I can't remember, but it is definitely like a place that they're in a lot. And it's just a circle, and it's different levels, so you're constantly sort of, as you're running, you're like turning a corner, and then suddenly there's this thing. And actually in my reference picture for the water prison, you can see these creepy little things. They just, if you run into them, it hurts, so you have to hit them, and they just kind of go back down into the ground. And I did a little I was a little cheap with how I did the background. I don't do backgrounds really well. Like, I never do. I suck at perspective. It's definitely a very big weak point for me, and something that I know I need to work on, but I haven't really gotten into yet. So I just kind of dropped it down, mapped things out, and then I just started painting. And I mean, I don't know if that's cheating or not, but I didn't trace it. Like, I didn't just, steal it or anything. So, and then the shadow, I just kind of made a copy of the layers and flattened it, and then played with it, and then changed the opacity and did multiply, and just kind of made it look like it followed the path. And then I brought it in a little bit more, so I could figure out these square tiles. I wanted to get the spacing right, and this, I made one tile that I liked. I just copied it a bunch of times and set it down, and I select them the way I kind of do my background, where I select it so I don't draw outside of my lines, or color outside of my lines. I select those, and then I did a bunch of grainy, weird, sort of splotchy painting on top to get a color that I think works and looks similar to. And then there's the warping that I was talking about. So they kind of go back in as much perspective as I can achieve with my weird background. There's the playing with it. I'm trying to match, because the picture reference is darker, so I'm trying to match it to my color palette, which is brighter. Mostly just so I don't lose anything. And it looks pretty good. I like the way it came out. And I ended up having to move the pieces in so they fit a little bit more exact. It was driving me nuts when I noticed the spacing was off. So I wanted to fix it. And I'm pretty sure the spacing is still actually off a bit, but I'm not quite as worried about it because I got it as close as I could. And then I forgot I was going to need 2 of them, so I think I ended up, there it is, having a second layer that I hid. And you just bring it down in size. And this is a good way to do backgrounds. When you have something that is like a tiled surface, you make the tile and then you warp the perspective after it's complete. And that's It's so much easier that way. Like, love yourself. Seriously. I wanted it to pop a little bit from the background, because the background is really not what this piece is about, but I wanted to make sure that there was something more than just plain background of nothing. I gotta work on doing backgrounds more often. Just kind of ran out of things to say. You do the shinies. Shinies make things pop. Do it on, I mean, their eyes aren't open, so you can't really do it on their eyes, but you do it on anything that the light is hitting. And the light's kind of coming from the front. I don't establish my lighting as well as I probably should. But a little bit on the rim. Maybe there's some reflected light, and then just kind of playing with the background just to make things look nice. Hopefully hide some of my mistakes. But overall, I think it ended up being a little bit better than I expected. Mostly, like I said, because I don't do backgrounds. The painted splotchy effect was something I was really happy with too. And I'm glad I tried. And that's something else that's super important, is trying things that you might not be comfortable with yet, and then just seeing how close you are to where you want to be, and then you know what you need to work on. And I know I need to work on backgrounds. So this is it. This is my piece. Thank you for joining me.